What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're back. I'm back. How's everyone doing? CasonPoint is here for 2021. Let's go. All right, quick recap what we've been going through. CasonPoint is really growing. I know as 2020 ended, we kind of expanded on and explained what we were doing, but we're going to be adding some podcasts to the network, and we're trying to work with some streamers to make stuff happen for them. So we're really trying to grow this. So I apologize for CasonPoint taking so long to come out, but we have some sports to talk about. So hey, what the heck, man? Baseball's here. We figured we'd put a little episode. We got a little tiny gift for you at the end of this episode. We're going to keep it short and sweet. I know that was kind of the thing that I said all the time, but hey, this time I promise we're keeping it short and sweet. So before we dive into anything, I just want to start with a quick recap. Congratulations to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers for the Super Bowl. Props to them. Good job, boys. Nice work. Nice work. Kansas City Chiefs way to poop the bed. Congratulations to the Baylor Bears for winning March Madness and taking home the trophy over Gonzaga. Gonzaga definitely had the best team, and they played the best all year. And Baylor just came out and they wanted it more. And it is what it is. Baylor wins. Congrats to them. Nice work. Congrats to all of the winners of the trade deadlines for basketball. The Brooklyn Nets are getting better. The Miami Heat are getting better. The Los Angeles Lakers are getting better. The Milwaukee Bucks got better. So good job to them, and congratulations to hockey having a season and actually bringing in fans. Nice work, boys. We're going to be diving into some hockey and some basketball here next episode because I got another special episode with a special guest next CasonPoint, which will probably be dropping next week. Or if you're seeing this weekend, it might be in a couple days. So props to you. But this episode, strictly as we wear the hat, we wear the jersey, we are covering baseball today, baby. So last year we did it. This year we're going to do it. We're going to do our predictions. Last year, not so great. I did not do great. A lot of the teams that I thought were going to do well didn't do so well. So we really need to do better this year. So we are about 8 games into the season for most teams. Most teams are sitting at 8. Some teams are sitting at 7. For the rare case, I think there's a couple teams that are at 6. But nevertheless, we are here to talk about baseball. So congrats to baseball getting their season off without a hitch. The Texas Rangers had a full capacity stadium. Good for them. That's awesome. Did we beat COVID? I don't know. Did we? We might find out by the end of this baseball season, but there are fans in the stands, and that is what matters. So good job, boys. So before we get to our special guest and the special event that we're going to be covering, I wanted to give my predictions for not only the awards for the year, but also who I have taking their divisions and going to the playoffs. I'm just going to do divisions and wildcards this episode. After the next episode where we cover hockey and basketball and our little special guest there, we're going to, the next episode, we'll dive into our predictions for the postseason, who's going to win each championship. So we'll cover who we think is going to win the Stanley Cup, who we think is going to win the Larry O'Brien, and who we think is going to win the Major League Baseball pennant and bring home the piece of metal that Rob Manfred so highly touts. Anyways, so diving into the first division, we are going to cover the AL East. So in the AL East, we have the Orioles, the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Rays, and the Blue Jays. Okay. I really want to go Blue Jays here. They're a very young team. They're very talented. A lot of them came up through the farm system. So you know, the camaraderie is there for sure. And they added the perfect pieces that they needed to add. Right now they're sitting at like just under 500. I think they're 3-5 thanks to my Angels. Let's go, boys. But Springer's still not available, so we'll see how that works out. I really badly want to go with the Blue Jays, but right now, like the stat that I'm looking at this early in the season is run differential. Who is scoring points and who is stopping points from being scored. And right now, the leader in the clubhouse for the AL East is the Boston Red Sox, with the Yankees right behind them. And then after that, I look at roster. Who has the roster that can keep their drive going and who doesn't? I like the Yankees more when I'm looking at that over what I'm looking at with the Red Sox, because if you look, the same amount of games, I believe the Red Sox are 4-3, the Yankees are 3-4. The Yankees are 30 runs scored and 25 allowed, whereas the Red Sox are 38 scored and 30 allowed. So they're allowing more runs, but they're scoring more. I don't think that this roster can keep the runs coming, which kind of scares me. So that 3 extra run differential over the Yankees really doesn't mean much to me when I'm looking at the numbers that they're allowing to come through. And so that leads me to the Yankees. I see the Yankees coming out of the AL East. I think right now the Orioles are at top, but we know the Orioles aren't going to keep that going. So I like the Yankees in the AL East. As for the AL Central, we have the Twins, we have the White Sox, the Indians, the Royals, and the Tigers. Okay, Tigers are taking last. We all know that. The fact that they have a few wins is actually very surprising. The Tigers will take dead last, so that's not who we're talking about. The teams that we have to look at are the top 3, the Twins, the White Sox, and the Indians. Okay, the Indians had the talent with Lindor and Kluber, but unfortunately both those guys are gone. I don't think the Indians make a run this year. I think that they make a good push, but I don't think that they're going to take the division this year. I actually like the White Sox. I like the Twins a lot, and right now when you look at run differential, it's stupid. I believe the Twins are at like 24, 23, 24, something like that, and the White Sox are at like 12. But going back to kind of what I talked about with runs being scored, this kind of goes against what I just talked about, because the White Sox have allowed way more runs. I believe like 35, 36 is what they've allowed, and the Twins have only allowed 22. So that's where this roster really comes into play. What do I think of each roster? The White Sox are just so young, and in baseball, that could really benefit a team for how long the season is, longevity, health-wise. As much as I want to say the Twins here, because I really do, I'm really torn about the Twins and the White Sox. As much as I want to say Twins, I got to go White Sox, just from their age and how I think that they can really overcome some of their deficiencies throughout the season, since it's such a long season. Because the Twins are one player away from going down for a long period of time, and then they're not going to put up the same production that they have now. Whereas the White Sox have so many young plug-and-play players that it will hurt them for sure, but I don't think it's going to hurt them as bad as it would hurt the Twins. So I'm going with the White Sox, but the Twins are so close. They're right there, but I got to go White Sox. I got to go White Sox here. Going to the last AL division, we're looking at the AL West. So we have the Astros, the Angels, the Rangers, the Mariners, and the A's. It's really hard to go against the A's every single year, because I feel like they put together that perfect team every time. The team that does the right things. They put the right pieces in the right place. So it's really hard to go against the A's, but I don't think that this year is for the A's. I think there's enough teams in this division that have made moves that are really forcing the hand of the A's to kind of not necessarily change their ways, but really try to bolster their roster. I want to say Angels so bad, because they're playing really well right now, but I know that it's going to stop eventually. Going to the run differential, I mean, they have the same record as the Astros, but the Astros almost have 20 more plus runs in the differential category. They're only allowing 26 scored. The Angels, I believe, are like 37, 38, so I can't go Angels. As much as I want to, I can't. I can't have the Angels winning the AL West. I don't think that they have the rotation or the bullpen to do so. They have the power, for sure. Ohtani is a stud. Trout, outstanding. Justin Upton has changed his swing pattern, so he's getting better. Pujols last year. And, David Fletcher's turning out to be a stud. Jared Walsh is a stud. And to top that all off, we still have 2 outfielders that are sitting in the minor leagues that could potentially be call-ups. So I like it. I really do, but power and batting is not going to win you a championship. Pitching and bullpen is going to win you a championship, and that's going to get you in the playoffs. And unfortunately, they don't have enough firepower to make the playoffs. Now, will that change at the trade deadline? Maybe. But as of right now, with the roster that they have, I can't go Angels. I have to go Astros. So the three winners of their divisions in the AL, I have the Yankees winning the AL East, I have the White Sox winning the Central, and I have the Astros winning the West, unfortunately. Now, when it comes to wild card, two teams will be the wild card here. I really like, as I said before, I really like the Twins. The Red Sox are one of those teams that could they do it? Yes. Will they do it? Probably not. I really like the Twins, though. I don't like the Indians enough to move them there. And there's no other team in the AL West aside from the Angels that can make a push. I'm going to say your top 6, number 5 is going to be the Twins, and number 6 is going to be the Angels. And the Angels are going to be very close to whoever makes it out second in the AL East. And it could be the Blue Jays. It could be the Blue Jays. It's a toss-up. It's a coin flip between who's going to make that 6 spot. It's going to be either the Blue Jays or the Angels. The Twins are going to take that 5 spot, or that 4 spot. They have to. So it's going to be between the Blue Jays and the Angels. I'm going to go Angels right now just because the small sample size that we have, the Angels have played much better than the Blue Jays, beating them head-to-head 2-0 right now in Florida, which is their home stadium right now due to COVID. But I'm going to go Angels. I think that, them staying in Florida isn't going to hurt them as bad because it's baseball and not everyone stays where they play for anyways. And actually probably less travel for them since they have to play the Rays, which, just down the state. And then obviously you have, Boston and Baltimore and New York right up the coast for them. So a lot less travel for them. So it actually probably benefits them more than being in Toronto. But I'm going with the Angels and the Twins. That's who I got rounding out that. Then as far as the NL, okay, we'll start at the East just like we did with the AL. You have the Phillies, the Mets, the Braves, the Nationals, and the Marlins. Right now, Philly looks like the best team. They've spent the most money for sure, and I think that they have the right pieces in place. Atlanta's the only other team that I think right now their record doesn't show how good that team really is. They're also coming off an extremely tough NL championship, losing to the Dodgers. So that their team's very young. Aside from Freddie Freeman, that team is their stars are really young. Ozzie and Acuna and Swanson, they're really, really young. So that could really impact a team more than people think. And, eventually they're going to come up. I mean, when you look at that, right now they're not scoring runs, which is why they're not winning. Their run differential is still positive, even though they have a losing record. And right now, it's like 22 runs they've allowed. That's like the second lowest in the division. So lower than the Phillies, and the Phillies are in first. So I like the Braves here. I really do. But Philly's going to be neck and neck with them. Philly has the firepower to definitely do. I think they're one pitcher away from really making a stand, but they're good, and they're good enough to make a playoff run. But right now, I like the Braves. I think the Braves are going to make a turnaround here in the next couple weeks, really make a push for that division, kind of stay near the top as the season goes on. Now, NL Central. NL Central, we have the Reds, the Cubs, the Cardinals, the Brewers, and the Pirates. Pirates, there's no shot. No shot Pirates even come close to sniffing the playoffs. They don't have the roster. They don't have the management. No shot. But the rest of that division is good. They all have firepower. They all have good pitching. They have great bullpens. I mean, the entire division is stacked. The problem is they're going to be like the Pac-12 where they all beat up each other. Usually it was whoever was better between the Cardinals and the Cubs, they were the team that were fighting with the Brewers to win it. Unfortunately, right now, the Cubs are having a really down start to the season as far as firepower goes, getting runs on the scoreboard. So, I mean, the Cardinals aren't, but they're allowing too many runs. The Reds right now are on fire. The Reds are scorching hot. And the Reds have made some really good moves this offseason, which really wants me to lean towards Cincinnati. But it's really hard to go against the Brewers and the Cardinals and the Cubs. But for the sake of the show, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go with the Reds taking the NL Central, and then you're going to have a three-headed dragon fighting for a wild card spot with the Cardinals, the Cubs, and the Brewers. Now, in the NL West, We have the Dodgers, we have the Padres, we have the Giants, we have the Rockies, and we have the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks and Rockies, I don't think have the roster to stay within this division. Diamondbacks for sure. I think their run differential right now is like minus 18. No shot. The Giants are there. They have the pitching staff, but they don't have the firepower. Everyone on that team that they're relying on to score a lot of runs are kind of past their prime. Crawford's a little past it. Buster Posey's definitely past it. I honestly think that the Padres have a real shot at this. Shout out to Musgrove, by the way. First career no-hitter. Pretty impressive. Not only first career, but first in franchise history as well. I believe the Padres were the last active team to throw a no-hitter. So that is pretty cool. But the Dodgers are the leader in the clubhouse, for sure. Everyone in the NL is chasing the Dodgers. How they can build a roster like the Dodgers, shut down the Dodgers. The Dodgers have the target on their back, which makes it really hard to go against the Dodgers. And even though I like the team just down the street from them, it's really hard to go against the Dodgers. It's hard to look at a team that talented and say they're not going to do it, because they definitely can do it. So I'm going to go Dodgers here. I have to go Dodgers. They're what they've done. Their roster, they win a World Series. They bring back almost everyone. They did lose some key pieces. Jock Peterson, Kiki Hernandez. They lost some key pieces, but they bring in Trevor Bauer Power Hour. That's a huge signing. Huge signing. Trevor Bauer is a stud. It's hard to look at things like that and just be like, yeah, there's no way they do it again. Just like what you're seeing with the Buccaneers right now, bringing everyone back. It's like, okay, it's hard to root against them. Or not root against them, but vote against them. So I got to go Dodgers. As far as the playoffs go, I'm giving a spot to the Padres. There's no way the Padres don't make it. The money that they've spent to make the playoffs, it would be a disappointment if they didn't make it. It really would. It'd be detrimental to the entire organization. So it's got to be the Padres. It's got to be the Padres and the Phillies. It really does. That NL Central though is so deep. But I said it earlier. I think the NL Central is very similar to the Pac-12, where they just are going to beat up each other. And even though they're all really good, their records aren't going to show that because they just beat up on each other. I gotta go Padres Phillies. My gut is telling me that I have to go Padres Phillies. There's no way that it's going to be any other team or two teams than Padres Phillies. Now, the only way that it's going to happen is if the Cubs can drastically change their batting order right now and really make a push for either a bat or some power in the lineup to during the trade deadline. Maybe then they can do it, but I don't know. Oh man, then you have dude, that's hard. Now that I think about it, it's actually really hard because is like legit. This is way harder than it should be. Like for real, this really is. To just looking at what I can see and like how it works out. Yeah, I gotta do it. I have to do it. I have to. There's just no way. Now the question is, now that I think about it, the question is, does MLB, did their bargaining agreement close? Because I thought it expired after 2021. Let's look up playoff. Whoops. How many playoff teams because I know that their playoff expansion was for 1 year and it was the COVID year. But the question is, are they still expanding the playoffs? Because I know in 2022 they're going to move it to 14 teams. So there'd be 7 on each side. And we just did 6, which is 12. Okay, let's see. As mentioned, the expanded postseason we saw in 2020 is not returning. Obviously, that's what we just talked about. The universal DH is also out for 2021. I don't care. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the postseason. The 2021 All-Star Game 21 postseason schedule is not yet official. While the playoffs were expanded from 10 to 16 teams in 2020, that agreement was for 1 year only. The league and the Players Union did not reach a new agreement regarding expanded playoffs for this year. In the absence of such a pact, the playoffs will once again feature 5-team fields in both the AL and the NL. And begin with winner go home wild card. So we did 5 and 5. We did 10. We didn't do 6 and 6. They're trying to push for a 14 team playoff. And that is expected to happen in 2022, which I assume. So yeah, we were right. With the 5 teams, we were right. Damn, I was really hoping it'd be 6, because if it was going to be 6, then I'd definitely squeak in either the Cardinals or the Cubs or the Brewers. But because it's 5, I'm going Phillies, I'm going Padres. It has to be that way. They're just too good right now. They've spent too much money in the offseason. You got to go with them. But there's a lot of good teams that are going to get left out, and that's why I love MLB playoffs, because it's not a half the league makes it and half the league doesn't. You literally have to fight tooth and nail all season to try to make it, especially if you're in a tough division. Right now, the toughest divisions are in the National League. The American League is very top heavy in their divisions. In the AL East, you can make an argument for the Yankees, you can make an argument for the Blue Jays and the Rays, and that's it. 3 teams that you can make an argument for. But your argument, once you start dipping down to the Rays, is not going to be as strong as the argument you're making for the Blue Jays or the Yankees. In the AL Central, you can make that argument about the White Sox and the Twins, and you might be able to make an argument about the Indians, but that's it. In the AL West, Angels and Astros. That's it. The Rangers aren't making it, the A's aren't making it, and the Mariners aren't making it right now. You might be able to make a small case for the A's because they always find a way to get it done, but that's it. You go to the AL East, the Mets could do it. The Phillies could do it. The Braves could do it. The Nationals can do it. The Marlins aren't doing it, but that's 4 teams you can make an argument for. You go to the NL Central, the Reds could do it. The Cubs could do it. The Cardinals could do it. The Brewers could do it. That's another 4 teams in the division that could do it. Then you go to the NL West, the Dodgers could do it. The Padres can do it. And then you might be able to make an argument for the Rockies or even the Giants, but even though those are slim. So the NL West is probably the only division where you can't make an argument for 4 teams. The other 2 divisions in that league, you definitely can. So, to wrap it all up, bring it all back in before we bring our special guest on, we are going with the winner of the AL East. East. The New York Yankees. The winner of the AL Central. The Chicago White Sox. The winner of the AL West. The Houston Astros. Your wild cards for the AL. At the 4 spot, you have the Minnesota Twins. And at the 5 spot, the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Then you move to the National League. Your winners of the NL East. The Atlanta Braves. The winner of the NL Central. I can't. Cincinnati Reds. I gotta stick to my guns. Cincinnati Reds. The winner of the NL West. The Los Angeles Dodgers. Now, your NL wildcards. Sitting at the 4 spot. You have the Philadelphia Phillies. Sitting at the 5 spot, barely squeaking into the playoffs, we have the San Diego Padres. All right, boys. Here we go. And girls. We're done. We have wrapped up our predictions for the baseball season. Now, as I stated earlier, we have a special guest. This special guest is a wonderful podcaster, even better at streaming content live. He is not only my cousin, but he is also my co-host of our other podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome. He goes by MediocrePanda. I call him Mr. Panda. But ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Cody Meyers. Mr. Panda, how are we doing today?
Well, Mr. Point, I'm doing fantastic. since receiving the news that I would be appearing on this prestigious platform today. Thank you for having me back.
Absolutely. Happy to have you back. We have a big announcement. Obviously, CasonPoint's back, so we had to make this episode special.
Yep.
So we broke down baseball today. I gave my predictions, okay, who I thought was going to win each division, who I thought was going to go to the World Series. I'm sorry, but unfortunately, both of our jerseys I did not have predicted to go to the World Series. However, I did predict one of these jerseys to win their division. So there's that. So yeah, but the reason why I had you on here is because today is April 7th. And what people don't know about April 7th is it's actually a historical day when it comes to baseball movies. Three of the arguably greatest baseball movies ever made came out on April 7th of the year that they were released. So you had Bad News Bears, you had Major League, and you had The Sandlot all come out on April 7th. So I figured, hey, what the hell? Why not release an episode of CasonPoint, come back on April 7th and do what Mashing Joys does? And I only can do that with my partner in crime, and that is you. So now that we have you on here and the people somewhat have an idea of what's going on, we will be giving our top 10 best baseball movies, and we will be doing it in Mashing Joys fashion. So for those of you that have not watched Mashing Joys, what are you doing? Now, if you have, but you don't quite remember, that's fine. Here's a little refresher. We list our top 10, okay, our individual top 10s. We do not know each other's top 10s. That is a staple for what we're doing. And then I will, like a stooge, try to guess Mr. Panda's top 3. And generally, when we do this, we always start with our honorable mentions and the not so honorable mentions. So, Mr. Panda, give me your 3 not so honorable mentions of the greatest baseball movies of all time, which in these cases, usually the 3 worst baseball movies of all time.
Well, Jason, first off, I want to apologize to you in letting you know that the first movie I will be mentioning is without a doubt your number 1 movie of all time, not just baseball movies. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm saying Air Bud 7th inning fetch.
Oh my God.
As one of my dishonorable mentions.
That's awesome.
It almost made the honorable mentions just due to the name 7th inning fetch. And that's just fucking incredible. That's just incredible marketing.
Oh my goodness, that's awesome. I did not think you were going to say that. That's awesome.
I also have on here Rookie of the Year.
Ooh.
Yeah, controversial. I know.
Okay.
And as much as it pains me to say this, I also have on here Mr. 3000.
Okay.
That one I was kind of like, does it go in the dishonorable? But Bernie Mac, but
yeah,
it made the dishonorable list today.
It's not a bad dishonorable list. Mine are actually number 3 on my dishonorable because I did rank these as the 3rd worst, 2nd worst, and the worst. 3rd worst, Little Big League. I think that in that era, like the late 80s, early 90s, like the kid baseball movies was like, the hot thing to do. And the whole like kid takes on this franchise. It's stupid, bad idea. I think it has like a 30% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not a good movie at all. Number 2 on my list is actually one that's on your list as well. And that is Mr. 3000. I thought that movie was a terrible reach for a comedy for Mr. Bernie Mac. I think the concept was really cool. I just don't think they put the right person for that movie. I think there's a lot more options out there that they could have went for. Bernie Mac, not a fan. And then number 1 is Summer Catch. Awful awful movie. Pretty sure it has below 10% on Rotten Tomatoes. I've seen this movie once and I was way too young to watch it, and it was bad when I was young. So that tells you a lot, since a lot of these movies on my top 10 were really great when I was young and they're probably terrible now, but I don't care. It was, I think Summer Catch came out in like 2001. I think it was like the Fever Pitch before Fever Pitch came out. Except the dude played baseball. It was a bad movie. Bad movie. Give me the first three out, if you will, of your top 10.
Well, Fever Pitch is one of them.
Okay.
Great movie. Number 2 is a movie you mentioned on your dishonorable list.
Oh, okay.
But due to just sentimental value,
Okay.
Little Big League made that honorable mention list.
Okay.
And then number 1 was Benchwarmers.
Oh, didn't even make the top 10.
No, I had it at 10 and then I thought about it again and I was like, nah.
Wow. Okay. Fair enough. My honorable, I have number 3, Field of Dreams. Come at me, baseball fans, but I hate to tell you, don't claim to be a baseball movie when 80% of the movie is about seeing ghosts. So Field of Dreams is just outside my top 10. It's a good movie, but baseball movie, yeah. Number 2 on my list is Moneyball. I think it was a really good movie. Didn't necessarily capture the baseball aspect that I like in my baseball movies. I think it was a really cool untapped story that they hit. Kind of like if I were to do like a top 10 best NFL movies, Draft Day would be probably just outside of that. Just because really cool concept. I like what you did. I like how you made a movie. You got some good actors in it. That's great. But just doesn't do it for me. And then number 1 on my honorable is The Rookie. That movie was actually really good. That one, this one, and then my number 10 were the only 2 that I really struggled at. Which one's going to make the list? Which one's not? The Rookie was really cool. I think Disney is the one that put that out in the early 2000s. But that was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the coach who had it but doesn't know if he has it anymore, was forced by his players to go back and try it out. Good story. I liked it. That one was 10.5 because it bounced from 10 to honorable mention a couple times. All right, so honorables are out of the way. The terrible movies are out of the way. Now, sir,
yes,
we are diving into our top 10 greatest baseball movies of all time.
Yep.
Number 10 for you. What is it?
Now, obviously, I want to throw disclaimers out here. I have not seen every baseball movie ever made. There are some movies that are not on this list that may shock a lot of people, but I haven't seen them. And some of these movies, you'll be like, well, why is that there? Why is it so high? It's my fucking list, right?
Fair enough.
It's my list.
Yeah.
My opinion. With that being said, my number 10 is The Natural.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The Natural. I like it.
Good movie.
It is a good movie. Completely forgot about The Natural, actually.
Wow.
I know.
See, direct your hate at Mr. Point here for forgetting about The Natural.
Do you though?
No,
not a bad 10. Not a bad 10. Again, we're getting started here. We're not even at the meat and the potatoes. Okay.
Yeah.
Number 10 for me was actually on one of your previous lists, which is why I had the reaction I did. And that is Rookie of the Year. I thought that movie was one, it's nostalgic, right? But 2, another cool concept, has the witty comedy in it, but also gives you that, feel good story at the end, a different story. Like I love when, especially like sports movies, when they tap into something that's probably like 1, never going to happen. And 2, just something where like the dude that presented it probably had a bunch of people that were like, wait, what? You want to, that's what you want to do? Like in my eyes, the same guys that sat in the room for Rookie of the Year were the guys like, hey, yo, it's going to be this kid, right? And he's going to have this surgery and it's going to like make his arm throw a ball faster. And he's going to be in the outfield and he's going to throw it. And the coach is going to be like, who's that kid? And he's going to put him on the team and he's going to be like, the Rookie of the Year. Those same guys are the same guys that are at the table talking about Back to the Future and the explanation of how they came up with the title and what the movie's about. I feel like they have the exact same reaction. So Rookie of the Year, number 10, good movie. I liked it. It's nostalgic. Number 10, better than the Rookie, Moneyball, and Field of Dreams. But you can see how the Rookie and Rookie of the Year were kind of, jumping rope there, if you will. Number 9 for me is probably a lot higher on your list. RIP to the actor. Number 9 on my list is 42. Great movie. There's a lot of Jackie Robinson movies out there, a lot of documentaries out there. I feel like 42 did a really good job at selling the drama aspect of it, not necessarily just like, I hate movies that are about like a baseball story and all they do is like overhype the story. Like I can't stand that. Kind of like I can't think of this name right now. The football movie with Michael Orr.
Oh, Blindside.
Obviously the storyline's great, his story's great, but like just the overemphasis of him being like adopted and like that whole collegiate thing, like it was just oversaturated with drama that made it kind of unbearable. I feel like 42, they did it right. They sold the drama, they sold the action, they sold who he was, and the movie wasn't necessarily about how great he was as a baseball player. It was about how great he was at handling the situation he was put in. And that was, the premise of the story. And I felt like it was really well done. I really enjoyed it. Definitely a movie that, if it's on, I keep watching it. So that's my number 9. What do you got at 9?
That is a decent number 9. I will agree with the disclaimer you put out at the beginning. It's definitely a little higher on my list. But my number 9, I went with, I like a lot of movies that have good stories, and like they do put that emphasis on the story, and kind of like baseball as a vessel to kind of like carry the story a little bit. So with that being said, my number 9 is the hit Clint Eastwood film Trouble with the Curve.
Trouble with the Curve's a good movie. Yep. I almost made my honorable.
Yeah, I love that movie. Clint Eastwood as a fucking I'm sorry.
You're good.
As an old, about ready to retire baseball scout trying to reconnect with his family and all that and the sport. Great film. I love Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
especially in The Mule.
Clint Eastwood's a boss for sure.
Yep.
Casting on that movie was perfect.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. What do you got for 8?
My number 8 is another nostalgia choice. Me and my mom watched all 3 of these movies in one weekend. So I'm going with the original Bad News Bears.
It's a good one.
Was my number 8.
That's a good movie. Filmed just outside of where we grew up.
Yep.
Good movie. I like that's good choice. I enjoy Bad News Bears. Number 8 for me, also one that you've previously had on your list. A little low for my liking. But number 8 for me is Benchwarmers. Has like the feel good story in it, even though it's a comedy. A ton of quotable lines. I mean, is you go to the Cason household and Benchwarmers probably quoted at least 30 times in a week. Like Benchwarmers is very quotable. And it's got a good flow. There's some corny parts, obviously. I mean, it's a Rob Schneider movie, so what do you expect? But Benchwarmers, number 8 on my list. Number 7, this is just an all-around great movie, great performance. Honestly, if I didn't love baseball so much, it would be much higher on my list because that means I didn't watch any of these other movies that I'm about to list. But just an overall fantastic film outside of being a baseball movie. Number 7, A League of Their Own. Great movie, great story. Obviously, baseball with the men, they have to go off to war, so these teams still want to have a product, so they start putting women on the teams, and just Tom Hanks kills it. Great movie, really enjoyed it. What do you got for number 7?
My number 7 is a movie you mentioned in one of your other lists.
Oh,
this one is my number 7 is Field of Dreams.
Okay. It's a good number 7.
Yep.
It's a good number 7.
Good story, and it also shares some beats with another movie that's on my list. And I really like that movie as well. So that kind of had an impact on the placement of this movie. But
okay, fair enough. What do you got for 6?
My number 6, if you want to just hold that jersey up a little bit higher, Angels in the Outfield. Probably like the second baseball movie I ever saw in my life behind the Sandlot.
Makes sense.
And I mean, it's just incredible story. Disney, obviously, in like the height of their making of like sports movies, like Cool Runnings was around the same time, a little bit before Mighty Ducks.
Mm-hmm.
So, but it's phenomenal story, phenomenal quotable moments as well.
Yep.
So,
yep. Okay. I like it. All right. Number 6 for me. This is where Jason probably does get smashed on the internet because I have something terrible to say. Number 6 on my list is Hardball. If you haven't seen Hardball, go watch it. It's amazing. R.I.P. G Baby. But where the internet's going to hate me is this is the very first time that I had ever heard the song Big Papa by Mr. Biggie himself. Fun fact, I actually scoured every single record store in Southern California for the Hardball soundtrack strictly to get that song because I did not know who sang it. Found the album, which I might even have on my thing. Maybe not. It's got to be up there somewhere. I ain't digging for it. But fun fact, literally the most like captivating scene is that song, and it's not on the album or on the soundtrack.
Wow.
Yeah, but Hardball soundtrack, fire, even without it. But then I found out who sang it, and then I was able just to get that album and listen to that song, and we were good. But Hardball, number 6, Keanu Reeves actually does a pretty good job. He's not dodging bullets in this one or killing people. He is helping kids learn the game of baseball. So good storyline. I enjoyed it. One of those movies that, baseball is obviously the dominant storyline, but then there's side stories that really help sell the movie. So Hardball, number 6. Number 5 for me, one that I don't know if it's going to be on your list due to your little statement you made before listing off your top 10. Bull Durham, number 5 for me. Great movie. Probably one of the best overall stories of baseball. I'm pretty sure if you Googled top baseball movies, there's going to be very few lists where Bull Durham isn't in the top 3, just because of how good of a movie it is. But obviously, growing up playing baseball, Bull Durham was a little more mature for me as a kid, so it wasn't something that I watched over and over and over and over and over and over and over. But still, one of those movies that I could go back and watch from start to finish, nonstop. Good movie. That's my number 5. What do you have for 5?
My number 5 is a little movie, you may have heard of it, called Moneyball.
Yeah, I have heard of it.
Yeah, a lot of people have, because it's a really dang good movie.
It is. That it is.
And that's another movie, like you said, like really a big focus is on the story. And I always have been intrigued by those, like, office type movies,
Mm,
like the inner workings of an organization, how they're building their team, all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So that kind of hit me good for Moneyball, and that's why it's ranking so high up.
I like it. I don't disagree. Number 4.
Number 4, movie I was kind of alluding to with Field of Dreams. It is 8 Men Out.
Another good movie.
Amazing movie. I actually just saw it for the first time probably a few months ago
Oh, wow.
because my mom was watching on TV and I sat down and watched it with her. Great movie. Obviously, like a great old school baseball movie.
Mhm.
Acting in it, superb. And yeah, I mean, it's an all-time classic. That's another movie you'll find on most baseball movie lists.
100%. 100%. Easily. Okay. Well, my number 4, just outside my top 3. One you have also already mentioned, the original Bad News Bears. Great movie, funny, quotable lines. It's, one of those PG movies from back in the late 70s where now it would be borderline rated R. Just the storyline's hysterical. A drunk coaching these misfit kids in baseball, just it's awesome. It's so good. So good that 30 years later they tried to make it again and it wasn't as good, but it was still, that movie was still good because the original was so good. So Bad News Bears, number 4 for me. Number 3. Okay, now we're in our top 3.
Yeah, this is that meat and potatoes you talked about earlier.
Exactly. Number 3 for me, another comedy, great movie. One of those movies that I will watch 1,000 times. I will probably watch at least 4 to 5 times during the baseball season. That's how good it is. And obviously Charlie Sheen's amazing. Number 3, Major League. Quotable, hysterical. Honestly, the storyline's so good. There's been multiple sports movies and TV series that have kind of followed the same premise as Major League. Actually, one that's really popular right now is on Apple TV. Ted Lasso is what it's called. Same exact concept, except in the soccer world. So this owner takes over, or actually the wife gets a divorce to, get back at the husband that cheated on him. She takes over this soccer club, and it's like his dream that this soccer club is, the greatest thing ever. And she brings on Ted Lasso, who's an American football coach, and hires him just out on a whim to basically force relegation to get the soccer club kicked out of like the Premier League. Exact same premise as Major League. The only difference is instead of trying to get back at her, husband, she wants to save money. And the only way to do that is to cut all the costs. And then she wants to move to a city where they can make even more money. And so they do that by sucking so bad that the MLB wants them out of where they're at so they can move to a new stadium, blah, 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 blah. Great storyline. And again, one that's kind of influenced a lot of other sports movies. And when you throw Charlie Sheen in anything in the prime of his career, poof, money.
True.
What do we got? Number 3.
My number 3 is another movie that you mentioned earlier on this very list.
Mm-hmm.
It is much higher on my list. My number 3 is 42.
Oh my God. I think I might be back in the winner's circle,
back on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a matter of if you get 1 and 2, right?
Yep.
If you get them in the right order.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll see. I have faith in you, though. I think you know me well enough.
I'm hoping.
But yeah, obviously, Dodger fan. If you're a Dodger fan, a name you worship is Jackie Robinson. And if you are a baseball fan, obviously, it's the only number retired around the league. We celebrate it every single year. And, just for what he did, not only how he handled the situation, like you said, he was put in, but what that did for baseball as a whole is, it's shown beautifully. And like you said, RIP Chadwick Boseman for an amazing performance as Jackie Robinson. And as a Dodger fan, that has to be in the top 3 for me.
I agree. I agree that. Yep. If I was a Dodger fan, that would be in my top 3 for sure. What do you got for number 2?
My number 2
Don't disappoint me.
is The Sandlot.
Oh no. You're an SOB. Damn. All right. Fair enough. All right. Hey,
No.
great movie.
Amazing movie. The first baseball movie I ever saw, something that helped me fall in love with the sport. I played it for, majority of my life so far. And, I just, for the love of the game, amazing story. All the kids are just so relatable, especially when you're growing up. And it's incredible. It's amazing.
It's a great movie. Great movie. Number 2 for me.
Yep.
Wait, actually.
Is he going to go to the shelf? No. There you go. Now you got your wings.
It's Angels in the Outfield, if you couldn't tell.
Of course.
Obviously, as an Angels fan, it's got to be at the top, right?
Yeah.
I'm a 92 kid, so movie came out in 94. It's only 3 to 4 years old before I start watching that movie. It helped me fall in love with that team, and it inspired a ton. As an Angels fan, people that go to Angels games know, anytime we're down a couple runs in the 9th inning, what do you see? There's at least 7 old white dudes doing this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It starts and then everyone starts doing it. Okay. If it wasn't for the rally monkey, this would probably be our thing. It changed the logo of the Angels. It changed our name. We went from the California Angels to the Anaheim Angels. It completely became a Disney product. The jerseys changed. Everything changed. It was just, were they the best jerseys? No, but the influence that movie had to change that was ginormous and awesome. And Angels in the Outfield is my number 2. Now, what is your number 1 baseball movie of all time?
My number 1 baseball movie of all time, if I were to walk into the other room and grab the VHS copy of it, you would be seeing Major League in front of you. You look very disappointed in me. See? Yep.
I'm back kind of in the saddle to where I'm still getting the 3 though.
Yep.
I'm making my way back.
Yeah. Progress is being made.
All right. Hey, I can't be bad at that because Major League is an amazing movie.
That's very true. That is a movie I watch, like you said, 3-4 times a year, and incredible movie.
Very, very incredible. Also very, very racist. And definitely not a movie that would be made in 2021.
Oh, no.
However, still very good. Very funny. Holds up. Great movie. My number 1, I don't think I have to say it because of my reaction previously, but number 1 is Sandlot. Now, Sandlot is number 1 strictly for 3 things, and 3 things only. 1, every single person watching this, playing baseball, watching baseball movies has gone through this one scenario: hitting a ball somewhere where you cannot retrieve it. And not one of us came up with an idea to make a movie about it. That's 1. 2, the most quotable movie in the sports world. The most. I would put it up against any other sports movie. They literally make You're Killing Me Smalls shirts and hats and clothing and all that. It is the most quotable sports movie of all time. And 3, when you can create a story that hits home for all ages, that makes it a great movie. It hits with the kids because everyone went to their sandlot, right? Everyone played pickup baseball games with their friends, played catch in the street. It hits the people that had step parents and step kids. Okay. That awkward connection between the two, trying to create a relationship that probably isn't going to blossom anywhere. It hits the kids that used to take crap from their parents. Okay. It hits that. It hits the nerds playing sports. It hits that aspect. It hits the pretty boys playing with the nerds. That aspect. It literally hits every single point aside from like a murder mystery. It is actually not true because the beast is quote unquote eating people, and they tell that story in the treehouse. So I'm proven wrong. I'm sorry. It is the most nostalgic, collaborative movie that I have ever seen. It is the first sports movie my kids will ever watch. It is just all around amazing, and it is my number 1 and your number 2, which is okay because your number 1's great too. But Sandlot, honestly, like Sandlot, Major League, Bull Durham, Field of Dreams, 8 Men Out, all those movies, if you were to look up top 25 baseball movies of all time, all of those are in the top 10 or within the top 10. Some of the ones that we mentioned, like Angels in the Outfield, that you're probably not going to see that on the top 25 because honestly, if you didn't watch it as a kid, if you watched it for the first time as an adult, it probably wasn't that good. And Benchwarmers, same thing. Rookie of the Year, The Rookie, all those movies. Moneyball was one that'll definitely be in that top 25. But overall, a great top 10. I think we nailed it. And I appreciate the hell out of you for coming on our kickoff 2021 CasonPoint episode. And I want to let everyone know, if you enjoyed what you saw, because you had to, you can see the both of us on Mashing Joys, another one of our channels that we put podcasts out. You can find us wherever you find CasonPoint: YouTube, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple Music or podcasts, Google Play, all those. And you can catch us streaming games on Twitch as well. I actually stream under the Mashing Joys channel, whereas my co-host and co-conspirator for world domination, he streams on his MediocrePanda channel. So go check us out. I'll put all the descriptions or all the information down into the description box. Stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe. Hit the bell for the notifications. We are going to have a quick string of a lot of episodes dropping out. We're trying to keep all these episodes. I know I say this every time and I never do it, but we try to keep these episodes anywhere from 35 to 45 minutes. But we usually go over an hour, but these ones we're going to try to keep short and sweet. We're going to have some new guests coming on here in the near future. We got some people out in some areas where some crazy stuff's going down. So we got to talk to the locals. We got them coming on. We're working on some spicy interviews. Probably not going to happen, not get my hopes up. But we got some potential professional athletes that might be coming on the podcast in 2021. We are working hard at getting this thing rolling. So as we end every single CasonPoint episode, I just want to let everyone know I appreciate you. Thank you for coming back. And we're going to do 2021 right for sure. And as we end every single episode, everyone, may the sports be with you.